So a world-class community in this group. And while ideally we want to see all of you guys move through these stages of agency growth as quickly as possible, right? Stability, scale, significance, all the way to Titan status where you're running a 7-figure or multiple 7-figure or 8-figure digital marketing agency. The reality is we want to celebrate as much for the agency that just crossed from 10,000 to 20,000 or 20,000 to 30,000 as we do for the ones that move to 7 figures or multiple 7 figures. Because it's not necessarily about the destination, it's about the progress, right? And sometimes you're racing forward and you're making momentum and you're breaking barriers, but sometimes you kind of hit a plateau. How many of you have experienced that? You guys, especially at 7 figures or multiple 7 figures? Sometimes you hit a plateau. Sometimes you actually go backwards for a little bit, right? When we cross 7 figures, high fives all around, but then we get unexpected churn. We get some team churn. We get a little bit frazzled. How many of you guys have maybe kind of dipped down a little bit? So we want to celebrate progress. We want to acknowledge that sometimes we hit plateaus, sometimes we go backwards, and that's why it's so powerful to have a community of other successful agencies that are doing this day in and day out, that are experiencing those same struggles, so that you have people that you can lean on, people that you can get feedback from, people that can encourage you when you go backwards. How many of you guys have gotten encouragement maybe when you went backwards from somebody in this room, somebody in this community? Amazing. What's really, really cool, we've got some agencies that have gone to 8 figures, right? We've got agencies that are crossing multiple 7 figures. But we all, every single one of us, started at 0 at one point, right? There was a point in time where the agency was just a dream. Having $10,000 or $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue was just a dream. And so there was a time where you got celebrated for getting 10,000 or 20,000. And so can we celebrate everybody regardless of if they're at 10,000 or 20,000? Hands up in the room if yes. Fantastic. Very cool. So basically, we want to recognize you at $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in monthly recurring revenue, all the way to the 7-figure and multiple 7-figure level. And so we're going to call up those agencies that just crossed their first $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. As we call your name, we're going to celebrate you. We'll have you come up. We've got a ribbon for you. And if you could just hold the applause until everybody comes up, we'll do an applause, we'll grab a picture, and we'll celebrate everybody's progress. Good?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Just to reiterate, that we want to have, anytime that you guys get the award, you sit back in your seat, but we will take one last picture at the very end with all of the awardees. So everybody who has a medal, everybody who got a wall plaque, everybody who got a triangle award, and all of our coaches, mentors, and anyone like Tony Ricketts, who was like, you know, our bona fide mentor without the status, you know, we want you guys up here too, because this is also your accomplishments as well. So I'm excited. Let's get started. Okay, so the first group we're gonna do is the white medal at 10K. This is the very hardest when you're first starting out. Just getting the 0 to 10K, that first set, is really difficult to achieve. So I'm gonna call these out.
Mary, and I want to say one thing before we start calling it out. The level we call you out for is based on what you submitted to us in your MRRs. Sometimes you don't submit it, or sometimes we get it wrong. And the last thing I ever want is for someone to think, all right, that's my turn, I'm getting that next medal, and then we don't call you. If we don't call you, it's definitely not because we didn't want to celebrate you. It was just there might have been a glitch in the data. So if there's an error, correct us. Just come up and be like, hey, it's my turn too. Are you guys okay with that? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, we try very hard not to make any mistakes, but please forgive us if we do. Mary Anglade, Otilia Kamsa, Mark Perna, Charlie McDermott. And if we call your name and you're in this room, please come up. And some of these people are virtual as well. Zach Tompkins, Tim Boyle, Lionel Johnston, Carrie Lang, Genero Sanchez, Corey Behrens, Arden Hamrick, Ahmet Yavuz, and Andres Abad.
All right. Yes. Congratulations. first step among many. Give these guys a big round of applause. Great work. Keep going. Keep going. All right.
All right,
Oops,
next
I pressed
up.
it. Are you pressing it as well?
I am. I'm
I'm
not
gonna
going to
let
touch it.
I'll let you press it.
All right, next up we have 20K. It's our yellow medal. I'm going to call up the next set. James King Baskin. Woo! Douglas Valadares. Rafna Ramakrishnan. Crystal Hobbs. Angie Nicole Wilkes. Tim Lovell. Robin Beatty. Joshua Lindquist. Jason Shea. Tim Jedrick, and John Tedesco. Get these right?
We have your. Let's grab one from Rock.
Come on over here. I'm gonna get these in.
Good job, man. Let's grab this one. Yes. Here we go. All right, let's give them a big round of applause.
Cheers.
Keep going, guys.
All right, next we have 30K, getting the orange medal. Tyler Link, Yuban Taborda, Brandon Brashears, Carl Willis, Jay Sigel, and Greg George.
Woo! All right. Nicely done.
All right, he's done.
Let's give them a big round of applause. Keep going, guys. All right, that's basically the stages to stability. And once we get to 40,000 and more monthly recurring revenue, we start to be on the path to scale. So at 40,000 in monthly recurring revenue,
We've got James Donovan, Matt Hansis, Mark Azopardi, Jason Warner, Tanner Leishman, and Alex Danner.
Rob, you come up too. Rob. Congratulations, man. Nicely done. No?
Thanks, guys.
That was nice work.
Sorry.
Congratulations.
Me too. Of course, can't forget you.
Sorry we didn't get your name in there, but. Oh, man, keep crushing it, guys. Let's give them a big round of applause. Good job, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you.
All right, now getting to 50,000 in monthly recurring revenue, the blue medal.
We've got 3 people. 4. Matt Foreman, Ricky Shockley, Josh Blicker, and Roberto Echevarria.
Roberto!
Did I get that right?
Yeah, congratulations. Nice work, man. Congratulations. 50K, big accomplishment. Momentum is in your favor now. All right, keep going. Yeah, man. All right, next up, 60,000 or more monthly recurring revenue, purple.
Jordan Richards, Jason Call, and April Edwards.
All right. Great work. Big step. Congratulations. There you go. Congratulations. Good job. Here you are. Let's give him a round of applause. Great job. Congratulations.
That's amazing.
All right, so that's the path to scale, right? It's really fun at that scale phase because you're starting to learn how to hire. You're starting to put the right systems in place. The next path is really you're on the cusp of going to seven figures. You're on the path to significance. And so at Brown, at 70,000 or more in monthly recurring revenue, just a stone's throw away from seven figures.
Our very own BJ Hamrick,
Woohoo!
from 62K last year to 71K. We have Shane Martin from 45K to 76K in the past 6 months. Bryce Conlin and Christian Altuve from 39K to 72K in the last 6 months. And Eddie Lee from 40K last year to 75K. Darko Dodig as well.
I don't know if any of you guys are here. It might be virtual right now. But you'll probably be watching it on the replay, so congratulations, guys. We'll get these medals to you. All right. So now what I'm really excited about is the agencies that have gone to seven figures. And, this is just a big milestone, right? When you cross that $83,000 in monthly recurring revenue. It's part of when we started Seven Figure Agency, and we named it that because our agency was at seven figures. It was just like this crazy number out in cyberspace. We didn't know if anyone would ever get there, but now we're seeing people cross that threshold every time we get together. So I love to celebrate this outcome. Got to make sure I get the sheet because I've got the names. I like to know who's coming up before I click the button. Okay. All right. Really excited. We're going to hear from these seven-figure agencies because we want to hear kind of what was the secret sauce? What was it that they did? What were the tweaks that they made to help move them across the threshold? Okay. And our first is an agency that's been in this program for quite some time. He was in and then he was out, and he's back in and he's crushing it in the mobile home space. Brandon Meek in the house. Brandon, come on up. Mobile home park. Lead crossings. Brandon, congratulations, man. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Here, hold this for a sec. We'll get a picture, and then we need to hear. Give him a round of applause. Here, I'll hold it so you have to. So, Brandon, tell us a little bit about the niche and the journey.
All right, so the niche I work with is mobile home parks. I've been in that space since like 2007. I worked for what would be an example of my client, so I learned it from their side as well as from the marketing side, and I fought it for a while, tried like all the standard niches to get into, and then eventually went back to it. And so then once I made the decision to commit to it, then things started to happen. Past that, I would say I quit doing things on my own, and I just said, let's just do what Seven Figure Agency says to do. So like when the team asked, like, what do we do with this? I'm like, well, is there a training for it? I'm like, well, yeah. I'm like, we'll do the training and then implement that. And we'll go from there. So I wish I had like some sort of magic, but that's really the trick for me has been just telling them, hey, do what Seven Figure Agency says to do. And we just really focus hard on executing as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and then measuring and refining from there.
So good. So there was a time where you were in this space, there wasn't traction, and you started getting traction. What was it that helped you start to land these mobile home parks? And
Sure.
Kind of like, what was the breakthrough moment?
So I would say that it was probably making a better commitment to doing some of the fundamental things we talk about, going to trade shows, doing some of the other outreach, trying to connect with other people that influence in the space. Those were some of the things that really started to make a change. I think really making a true dedicated effort to marketing for that. I think every time before I'd always tried to market broad because I was scared to get too narrow because it is very narrow. So I would always back out, and then eventually some roofer would ask me to do something, and I would do that, and then a dentist would say, "Hey, do you know?" And I'd be right back where I started. So I think that's what it was, is just committing to really doing what you say to do and doing it that way.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Let's give him a round of applause. Keep going. Sorry? You can go down now. I think we got the picture already?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Amazing outcome there, Brandon. Okay. Next up, they're not here live. They wanted to be here live. Hopefully you guys are watching this after the fact. They're in the gym space. One of the fastest growing agencies in the program right now is Alec Littlejohn and Derek Varun. Let's give them a round of applause. So good, guys. We'll get this seven-figure agency plaque out. Maybe if you could just take it off the stack. Okay. Next up, really excited to call up this particular agency. Been with us for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about it. One of my first Roadmap Live events. Had the Roadmap Live event. It was actually across the street from the office in a much smaller venue. And this individual reached out. He said, "Hey, me and my wife are going to come in the night before. Do you mind if we come see your facility?" And we kind of do a tour. I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" Right? And he came in. He spent the day with us, toured the office when we still had a physical office. Came through the process, chose one niche, didn't quite work out. Has really worked through this process. It's been an effort, but now past seven figures, significant momentum. Jeremy Fuller and team, congratulations. Svetlana, come on up, everybody. We got the whole crew with him.
It's a good time coming. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. So good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, guys, well done. Let's get you all up, scooch in. We got to get the picture. We got to hear from Jeremy, because it's been a journey. It has. All right. Look at this team. Wow. Give them a round of applause. From all over the country, international. All right. All right, Jeremy, so we got to hear, we know that you've had a tough upbringing. We know that you had a tough time in the agency space. Kind of share with the group your journey, the niche that you're in, kind of your experience.
Yeah. So Jeremy Fuller, we're Grow Home Care Marketing. We help home care agencies get their digital marketing done right. Yeah, it's been 7 years, something like that. And I would see people on stage, and I never gave up. Chris Rodriguez, Tony, they came in the program and they just went past me. But they were always reminders, that's where I can go. If they can do it, I can do it. And it took me a while to get here, but it was never giving up. And so I might lose some clients, and then I would tweak things. I would come back to your program, and I would say, well, what is Josh doing? Let's get into the seven-figure dashboard for training, and let's do what they recommend, because I don't want to, even though I might have an idea, I'm not the expert, right? We've got the experts here. We've got the people that's already been there and done that, and so that really helped us go to the next level, and just implementing what you teach.
Love it. Love it. Any other breakthroughs? Like, was it a joint venture relationship? Was it a trade show? Was it some unique Facebook ads angle that worked best for you? Yeah,
so when I first got started, I have kind of some ADHD, so I'll kind of jump around. Yeah, and so I knew that if I just, somebody said this, they went to like Maui Mastermind, and there was a guy that went there. He only went to the first day, and then he went back to his hotel room for the rest of the week and only implemented the first day. And so I knew if I just got some of your program right and implemented just some of it, I could see success. And I didn't always get it right, but I always kept coming back because I didn't want to veer off. I wanted to stay on the success track. So for me, a joint venture partnership has helped out, a couple different ones actually, but just in And some of you might be thinking, well, I don't know how to create those. Just being real with those people, I called them up. I said, this is who I am. I've been doing this for 23 years. I think I could help your industry. Let's meet. I flew out, spent my own money, and created relationships with people. So just being friendly with people has really paid off for me. And then just sharing what I know on stage.
So good. And yeah, you got those relationships. You started speaking at these types of events.
Yep.
And I saw you improve your speaking skills,
Yeah.
improve your confidence. And here you are at 7 figures and growing with an amazing team. Let's give him a big round of applause. The other thing I want to say that's a common theme, right? And I'll continue to go back to Tony Robbins and the ultimate success formula, right? It's like you have to be clear on what you want, right? In this case, we want to build a 7-figure agency. For those of you at 7 figures, we want to build an 8-figure agency. You got to be clear on what you want, and then you've got to get super passionate about doing whatever it takes to get there, and then you've got to take massive action. And all your action isn't productive, even with the proven formula, even with the step-by-step. You have to take action, and you have to get feedback. That didn't work for me. Oh, man, I don't have that skill yet. I've got to develop it. Oh, I don't have those relationships yet. I have to go find them. And Jeremy had to continue to take action and get knocked down and figure things out and continue to innovate, continue to elevate, continue to take massive action. And here he is today. I know you're going to continue to do great things. Give Svetlana a big hug for us.
I will.
And another round of applause. So good, man. Here's your reward. Don't forget your plaque. Jeremy. Congratulations, man. Love it. All right. I think we have one more 7-figure agency to celebrate today. This particular group, it's awesome guys. You're gonna love their story. But they've been coming to these intensives, right? And every time they come, they're like, man, we love what you're doing. We're doing the trainings. We're taking action. And I'm like, where are you at now? 30K. All right, where are you gonna be next time? 50K. All right, where are you gonna be next time? 7 figures. All right, like, oh, we didn't make it, but we'll get here next time. They keep taking action and they keep pressing forward. And so I'm really excited to call up Greg and Paolo Gullo. Asphalt Marketers, come on up. Great job, guys. Congratulations. Let's get a picture with the award. Give them a round of applause. All right, so we have to hear, tell us the story, tell us the niche, tell us the background, how you guys broke through.
So our niche is asphalt contractors. Our company's asphalt marketers, and we started the niche alongside our generous agency years ago. But then when we joined 7FA back in I think it was May 2023, so about 14 months ago, we decided just to only our niche. And that's it. We stopped taking on clients in the generous agency. So that was a big part of us starting to go forward. And also, we dialed in, we did our programs. Our programs allowed us to increase our average client value or monthly MRR from 2,100 and change to 3,100 and change. So that's about, and we have 27 clients right now, so that's about 27K in additional revenue just because we did the programs. That was a big part of it. And then what else?
Yeah, I think we didn't even scratch the surface yet with our niche and how much opportunity there still is out there, right? 27 clients, there's tens of thousands of asphalt contractors. Yeah. So we're looking to, now that we reach 7 figures, we want to 10X this. You know, we're at 85K MRR, just under that. We want to 10X it and bring it to 840, 850 with everyone's help here. And we want to thank you, Josh, and you, Yesenia, for everything. We wish we found 7FA a lot sooner in our journey. That would have put us in the right path a lot earlier, but we're happy to be here, and we want to thank everybody, 7FA, the community, for the friendships, the support, and we're just really happy to be here.
So good.
And for holding us accountable.
Yeah. Oh, and we haven't even scratched the surface in terms of implementing what we've learned here. Like, we've been here 13 months. This is what, our 4th intensive? We have, our to-do list is massive, so we're so excited to implement everything we've learned this week, last time, so I can go on, but thank you.
Sky's the limit.
Thank you, everyone. Sky's the limit. And anyone under 7 figures, you will get there. Just stick to the game plan. You'll be there in no time.
So good. Round of applause. Take it to your table. We'll make sure you guys get it. Congratulations, guys. Nicely done. All right. So that's 7 figures. 7 figures is exciting. There was a long time where there was no multiple 7-figure thing. It was like, well, like, why would we need that? But then we had to figure out, like, multiple 7 figures. People crossing multiple 7 figures. We got to celebrate the progress at multiple 7 figures. So what I believe is, as you cross into multiple 7 figures, you shift from, like, how do we build a team, how do we manage a team, to how do we start to build a leadership team? How do we start to actually build an operation as the CEOs of our businesses? And so the skill set completely changes. And this is when you start to become an agency titan. Agency titan is at multiple 7 figures. It's a really proud accomplishment. And so we've got some agencies here to celebrate, and we definitely want to hear the story, because how many of you believe it's almost as challenging to get to multiple 7 figures as it was to get to 7 figures, right? Because you start to hit a ceiling and you start to have new complexity. You got to solve all kinds of additional things. And so, first up, an amazing agency working in the painting niche. Austin Hauser, base coat marketing, Titan, multiple 7 figures. Amazing work. Congratulations. Oh, Nick. Absolutely. Congratulations. All right, where's the mic? We got to hear from Austin some encouraging words. And more importantly, like, what were some of the unexpected obstacles once you crossed 7 figures that you had to solve for to get to multiple 7 figures?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, we, like, everybody grows at different rates, and we chose the hockey stick growth method of, growing fast, breaking shit along the way. So we scaled to $1 million in 11 months. I had brain surgery along the way, which I would not recommend doing. But going from $1 million to $2 million posed a whole other set of challenges, right? As you already mentioned, you stop managing people and you start building leaders. And in order to build leaders, you have to look yourself in the mirror and determine if you're capable of doing that. So that was part of our challenge, was that whole transition from just growing a team to growing a leadership team that helped us scale.
Any tips that you can share with the group on how you made the...
So I started going to Tony Robbins and drank the Kool-Aid over there, and had a really long, deep look inside of myself to figure out what I needed to change to really get to that next level. And ultimately, I can look around this room and see at least 1 or 2 people at each one of these tables that helped us get to where we're at today. So this community, looking at yourself in the mirror and really just deciding that's what you want to do. I think your ability to grow is directly correlated to how uncomfortable you can get feeling, how comfortable you can stay feeling uncomfortable as long as you possibly can. And I was up here getting one of these other awards back over there just 2 years ago. So guys, if I can do it, you guys can do it too.
So one thing that stands out to me is you've really doubled down on self-development. You mentioned Tony Robbins, you mentioned your fitness and your health. You'd think as you get busier, you have less time and you've got to spend more time in the business. It feels like you take more time for yourself and you've really leveled up. Talk to us about that self-development side of the equation for yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a very big proponent of daily routines. So wake up early, plunge, sauna, workout, and I start my day like that every single day. So I'm starting my day with a few wins right under the belt. So no matter what comes up during the day, no matter how stressful that day gets, it's difficult to lose at that point. And again, it's really about identifying what you want and backtracking the goal from there. So if you know what the end result is, you just need to do the simple math to figure out what you need to do each day to get to that goal. And knowing that there's going to be stumbles along the way. Growth is not linear. It goes up and down. You hit a plateau. We hit a plateau recently, and it was actually at the last intensive, Yesenia, you brought up the fact that the only way to break through that plateau is focusing on improving your systems and processes, and really going back to the drawing board there for all that. So that was one of the big things that we implemented last intensive, was just going back to the drawing board, figuring out what was working, was not working. And Nick here was actually my first employee that I hired 2 years ago. And his annual review's coming up later this month, Nick. So yeah, Nick was a big proponent of all of that and dialing in our operations and allowing our leadership team to really thrive. And instead of us managing people directly, we now train leaders to manage other people on the team.
So good, man. Lots of great insights there. Thank you for sharing. Let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations, man. Appreciate you. Okay. Our next agency at multiple seven figures. I'm going to save him for next time and tell a deeper dive story. But I do want to acknowledge, in case you're watching, Samuel Klein and Adina Wapinski crossed multiple seven figures, quite a ways above it now. Let's give them a round of applause. They work in commercial cleaning space. He is international right now, otherwise he would absolutely be here. All right, this next agency owner is just an awesome guy. He was one of the first people I sold into this coaching program several years ago as I transitioned to a different salesperson for a seven-figure agency. And he's just executed every step of the way. Chose the niche, implemented the webinars, implemented the podcasting, positioned himself, started going to the events, has been very consistent, methodic growth within his agency. He's also an amazing advocate for the community. Let's call up Wesley Smith, Tree Service Digital. Titan in the house. Nicely done. Yeah, let's get the picture in. Let's get in the mic. Nope. Yeah, it is. All right. Wrong image is up. We'll get it back. You don't know who's coming up next. Tom, photo. Where's the mic? Okay, so serving the tree space. Tell us the story. Tell us the journey. Tell us how you were able to break through the multiple seven-figure barrier.
Yeah, so I joined Seven Figure Agency 5 years ago this month. And I had watched Josh from afar, just online or whatever, just the retargeting ads everybody's seen, right? So I was watching that and I was like, I got to do this, because I was in a general agency and we were doing probably 25K, 20K, something like that per month, with just a hodgepodge of different types of clients. And we had a few tree service clients, which is the reason I chose that niche. And got everything built out, joined, and started implementing. And really, what I always suggest to everybody in the group is just, focus on the landing clients and the authority building modules, and just go ham on those. Because the other stuff you can fix as it comes in, right? You need to get the clients, so you really don't have a business unless you're bringing in the clients. So just focus on that. Plug into the community. As Josh says, and as you hear all the time, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So plug in and get some accountability partners, meet the people in the group. Everybody's here, willing to help everybody. It's a hand up type of community, and I couldn't have done it without the entire community and all the people in this group. I coach a lot of the people in the group, and I learned just as much from you guys as you guys, learned from me. So I appreciate everybody in the group, and it's been a fun journey. 5 years has gone by like a year,
Amazing. And I think it's amazing insight. What he said there, you learn something, you do it, you get results from it, and then you teach it to others. We all have a duty to give back as we learn things, as we discover things that we learn, and you've done a great job with that. And what's interesting is that's where true mastery comes from, right? True mastery comes from when you are able to teach it to others, and that's when you really elevate. So I'm glad you shared that. Thanks so much for everything you do, and let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
Great job, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Keep it up. All right.
One more picture. Okay. All right. No, at the
Take it to your chair.
Thanks, Wesley.
All right. I know who's next. Huh? Yes. I don't know. I skipped the slide. But this is an amazing agency owner, runs one of the top podcasts in his country, came all the way across from New Zealand, a world-class marketer, Scott Wilson. Scott, come on up. Tight end. Team DI. Super. 22-hour flight. Congratulations. Let's give him a round of applause. Let's hear the story. Tell us.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day, I started in an office probably about this big, like that big. And I had to open the door. And now I have my own podcast studio and a team. And you don't get anywhere. I think there's two things. You need to build really a depth and connection with relationships, like build relationships with people. That is the reason I'm here today is because of Matt Platt. I met Matt at Traffic and Conversion, actually stayed in a house that he organized in 2019. And then I saw him here with you guys. And I asked him what's going on there. And he said, oh, you need to come along and have a look. So I started looking. And so the depth of those connections that you build over your life leads you to cool places, and then build a team. And I think, one of my goals the last 2 years is to build leaders. And I'm blessed to have a great team of leaders. And now we have Lynn helping us with EOS coach those leaders. And look, it's just a breath of fresh air. I really believe employ good people and get out of their way. Allow them to be world class. And I think one of the other things you need to do in your agency, and it's one of the things I hold dear, is have really good core values. And work on those core values and hire and fire on those core values, and it sets you up for success. One of ours is world-class training, world-class outcomes. And this place is world-class training. My team loves training inside the seven-figure agency. I was sitting at a table there today with some people that are starting off, and every time I think I just said, do the training. You guys have created a world-class platform, and everyone, you guys should be very, very proud of what you've done. Thank you.
Congratulations. Any tips on kind of what the marketing strategy or the breakthrough marketing tactic is?
Get caught doing the thing you want to do more of. Okay, so get caught. If you want to run more strategy sessions, film yourself doing strategy sessions. If you want to run more podcasts like you said start a podcast to me. And I was like, I didn't even really know I listened to a few podcasts, but I thought, okay, I went through the whole training. 1st of August this year, we'll release our 100th episode. And the first 80 I recorded on my iPhone, so you don't need all the equipment. The coolest thing now is we don't build websites, so we don't get a lot of backlinks. So what I did with my team is we've created a whole package. So when we interview someone, we create a package. So they get 3 short form videos, they get an audiogram, they get a blog post, they get a 3 static posts. We've created a whole package and how they can market it on their social medias. And that has just exploded our growth. I'd say with a podcast, that is the one thing that's actually quite easy for everyone to do. It's hard to get started. Record the first 5 and you're away. But seriously, we get in front of people today because of our podcast. And it's that simple. Our marketing took off because it was easy to create content because of that. And we never looked back. And now we're consistently in the top 1 in New Zealand. And we talk to people pretty much on a weekly basis that would never talk to us before. Like they want to be on the podcast, right? So it's been a game changer for that.
So good. Number 1 in New Zealand from a zero start less than 2 years ago with the podcast.
Yeah.
Number 1 growth strategy for you right now.
Fully. Like that got us to 7 figures and it got us to multiple 7 figures. Because, and I think, listen to Matt Platt when he talks. I was up on stage with him last year and he said something and I thought, well, he said, I'm going to do it. Put your phone number on your podcast. So I just started calling out my mobile phone on my podcast. 021-891-934. Just call me or text me. Let's have a chat. You'll be surprised how many people call you and text you. We will do a deal in America here this year with a massive franchise because I put my phone number on the podcast, and the guy texted me, and I called him, and he said, I never thought you'd call me back. You know? And it's just a simple thing. No one does it. No one puts their mobile phone number on the podcast. Matt said do it, I just did it, and now it's kind of funny because you get text messages all the time.
So good. Great shares. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. All right. Next up at multiple seven figures, an agency owner that is really great with hiring, recruiting, account management staff. He's one of the coaches that actually kind of entered this community to help support us in terms of how we hire and grow our account management teams, and has just been really active in the community, executing the ideas, executing the strategies. Works in one of the toughest niches in my mind, which is plastic surgery. And so let's call up Brad Ferris and Brett. And Brett's not here live. Just hand him the plaque, because I don't have the plaque, because it was too late. Congratulations, Titan status in the house. We have your plaque on black order because it came in at the last minute.
Fine. I can't take on things.
Hold it up, just so you have one. Give a round of applause. I was listening to Brad talk with a couple of the members yesterday, and he was giving a master class on how he's marketing and how he's doing cold outreach and stuff. So tell us about the niche, tell us about the agency evolution, and kind of how you broke through the multiple seven-figure barrier.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I've told the story to many people, but I'll tell it again. I slept on this group for about 3.5 years, not thinking it was really that important or that, like, why would you want to niche down, right? Like, it's more exciting to do general stuff. And we had dental, we had vein, we had a little bit of plastic surgery, med spa, and I sat here in March of 2023 when I presented, and I was messaging Brett, my partner, and I was like, we got to do this. And he's like, oh, that doesn't seem like it's the right thing. I'm like, dude, there's people at tables that are doing 400K, right? We're like 124. And really that started the journey for me of like, you'll all hear it, do the content, right? Come to the intensives, come to the spotlights, do the hard work. And in November of last year, we said goodbye to 28,000 of recurring revenue with 90 days notice to all the dentists. And they said, what? Like, what? And we were like, yeah, like, we can't focus on you anymore. I can talk about this program all day long. I'm super passionate about it. I love coaching in it. It is a hard niche. But one of the things that I think everyone's heard to hear is our account management team outsold Brett, who's in charge of sales, for basically 3 of the first 6 months of this year, just by doing upsells. So that helps in a huge way. We got a strategic partnership with a company on the NASDAQ that's a medical device company. So your cost to acquire a new client obviously becomes a lot easier. We wrote the book, which was not easy, and it's a thick
You should see this guy's book. It's literally like a dictionary.
Yeah, we did like small font, not like big font. And just really kind of coming from that growth and fulfillment mindset, which is what I put into the coaching, what I think everyone here is putting into this community. And I think your clients, your prospects, the referrals that you generate off of that, like we started in this program maybe with 1 referral partner, we have 6, along with the strategic alliance. So we're just getting started, and I'm excited about that. And same thing, developing a team. Right? I said to everyone, I want to turn into the chief optimizing officer in 2025. I don't want to be the chief operating officer anymore. And that's going to be having that team making really good decisions so that I can be a spokesperson for the agency.
So good. Congratulations on you guys' growth. Thanks for everything you do to support the community. Well done. If you need help recruiting account managers for your company, a great resource in this community.
How many do you have?
A lot. How many is it from you? 6? Very good. And he's helped our agency grow in that regard significantly. Also, not with us live, however, crossing into that multiple 7-figure territory is Patrick Carver. Runs a great agency. Let's give him a round of applause. Patrick, if you're watching, congratulations. All right. And so something new that we're doing that I love to do is recognize progress now to the $3 million, $4 million, $5 million mark, because you know what? If you came through this program and you got a recognition at 10,000 and then 20,000 and 30,000 and then you cross 7 figures and then you cross multiple 7 figures, and then it's like, but wait a minute, I got to wait till I get to 8 figures to get called out. I'm working. We should get some accolades. And so we want to recognize the agencies that are going to $3 million or more in monthly recurring revenue. First up, an absolute legend in this community. One of the most giving agency owners you'll ever meet. An inspiration, Chris Rodriguez. Come on up. Woo! $3 million, not easy.
Almost 4.
Yes.
Had to break through some serious obstacles. Let's get a picture. All right, Chris is always an inspiration. So where's the mic? Chris, we have to hear specifically, kind of as it relates to that $1 million, $2 million, the invisible ceiling that you hit, dealing with churn issues. Kind of tell us what you did and how you were able to break through.
Yeah, there's a distinction between success and excellence. And success is getting there, and excellence is being able to stay there. And I thought once I hit 1 million, like all the problems would go away, and it was the exact opposite of that. Excellence, I believe, at this stage is all about developing your team, specifically your leadership team, and working through them, which means we have to stop being the hero in our business, and we have to start being the coach. And that was a big shift for me, and that's really what I look at is how can I coach my leadership team up. I started with a leadership team that my skill set was way up here, and their skill set wasn't matching. And I had to have some hard conversations about that. And I've had to demote people off of the leadership team. And I just came to the realization that the team that got me to 1 million was not the same team in the building that got me to 2, which isn't the same one that's going to get me to 3. And this team here isn't the one that's going to get me to 5 and beyond. And I think it's also really important to know your skill sets and know that sometimes your superpower can become your Achilles heel. So I know a lot of you, always look to me about speed of implementation. And at the place that I'm at now, I can't be the one that is implementing. I have to have speed of implementation of telling my team, this is what you guys need to do. So yeah, we're really excited. We just crossed the 310,000 MRR mark, so we're pretty close to 4 million. That's 453 clients. So it's a lot of moving parts. And, I'll keep it real. Like, I was checking Slack throughout the day and seeing some things that just made my freaking blood boil. Like, how are we dropping the ball on that? I don't think that ever goes away unless you just don't look at Slack, which is what Brad told me to do. It's like, why are you even looking at Slack? So, yeah.
So one of the big things you've worked on is retention. I know you've got it with as many clients as you have and the value of the ticket. It's tough to keep up. What were some of the things you implemented that helped to get the churn even further down?
So 2023, we averaged a 4.9% churn rate with about a $600 client value. And we're a social media agency, so we're not doing websites, we're not doing SEO. So I was actually really proud about the 4.9. But then you look at the opportunity loss of, well, what if it was 2.9? And we did a hard shift on really just focusing on retention. And we implemented customer health scores. And I broke down the numbers to the team. And all performance bonuses were all focused on retention. And so far, the average for 2024, we were 4.9% last year. We're down to 2.9%.
phenomenal.
I mean, that's going to add $720,000 to our bottom line. So Josh always says, what you focus on expands. And all we were focusing on before was selling, clients. All of the bonuses was based off of our client active count. I just changed the story. That's not what the focus needs to be on. And at the end of the day, it's about relationships. And I want every single one of my account managers to be able to tell me something about the client, about their personal life. Because with paid ads, some months are great and some months aren't. And on those months when it's not great, what's going to keep them is the relationship. So it was just a hard shift from, yes, we're still selling. I expanded the sales team, but everything's focused on keeping the clients longer.
So good. What you focus on expands. Retention can be improved even at scale. Let's give her a round of applause. So good, Chris. Keep crushing it. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you. So I did realize now that there is another agency at multiple seven figures that I skipped over the slide. And so this is one of those agencies that has a name in this industry. Like one of the original trainers in how to grow an agency, exited the agency, came back into the agency space, decided he was going to double down and build seven figures and multiple seven figures in his niche, has done some innovative things with acquisition. And so I want to call up and congratulate Kevin Wilkie, Clinton James, and Jeff. Come on up, guys. The damage restoration space. Congratulations, Titan status. You guys are crushing it. Well done. Give them one. I think that it got printed late, but let's hold one up. We'll get you guys all one. Give them a round of applause, and I want to hear from you guys. You've done some cool things with acquisitions. Want to hear about that, and also kind of the agency, the niche, kind of the development of the company.
So we're water restoration marketing, and I was sitting here like, what were some of the key things that got us to multiple seven figures? And it's two. First, we focused on building a leadership team earlier than what it might have been like financially a good idea. So we sacrificed profits early on to build out a leadership team that would take us to the next level. And then the second, it's really interesting when you set a very clear intention that you're committed to make happening, and then you get buy-in from everybody on the leadership team, the world starts bending to your new reality. So beginning of this year, we set a 5-year goal of 1 million MRR, which seemed almost impossible at that moment. But then we also had the goal of how to get there was becoming world-class at strategic acquisition of other agencies. And that was our growth path, is that doing one acquisition a year that is a strategic fit for us. And then coming out of the last intensive, somebody reached out to us from this community because of the relationship that we built and wanting to move on. And we were their first choice to have acquired their agency. And yeah.
That's the scoop.
Yeah.
So good. How many of you guys eventually would like to hear kind of what that strategy is and how to acquire agencies? I'm trying to get Kevin to maybe share some of that information with us and put it into a training. Let's give these guys a round of applause. Well done, guys. Welcome to the Titans. Good job, guys. All right, back to our $3 million agencies. Excited. Next up, one of the original gangsters of the seven-figure agency. This particular agency owner is an innovator. You've all heard his trainings. He's got some great trainings coming up. He's a giver. He loves to share what he's doing. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He'll tell you exactly like it is, whether you like it or not, and we all love him for that. And the entire online marketing team, come on up at 3 million. Tony Ricketts, Angela Ricketts, online marketing. Let's do it. Get off the bus. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Fred.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Good job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's get a photo. All right, Tony, we got to hear. We know it's not been easy going to 7 figures and then multiple 7 figures and then trying to get to that $3 million level.
Just kidding.
She's like, I'm not prepared to say that.
She would pass out right here if I did that to her. No, so for everybody that's been on this journey, I'm sure a lot of you have been on this journey for quite some time that haven't hit $1 million yet. Raise your hand if you're under $1 million and you've been doing this for, say, more than 5 years. How many of you? Okay, a decent amount of you guys. Any of you have been doing it for more than 10 years, still trying to hit the $1 million mark? Got a couple of you. Let me tell you guys, it took me 14 years to get to the first $1 million in revenue. It took me 1 more year to get to $2 million in revenue, and 1 more year to get to $3 million in revenue. So I can tell you, I am living proof that if you work hard, you'll be able to get there. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's very tough to get here. I will not lie, getting here has been an up and down roller coaster through all different ways that you could think of, from revenue to my team, to understanding who our ideal client is, to putting our programs together. You know, I'll tell you, when I first came here to 7-figure agency, half of my revenue was in recurring revenue, the other half was in project work. And one of the things that Josh first told me when he invited me here as a guest was that we're gonna get you out of project work. And I told him, no, you're not, you can't, that's half my revenue. I can't give up half my revenue. I had, 3 or 4 people on my team, and after I sat around with people that I felt like I knew way more about this shit than anybody else, and they're just running circles around me, right? I heard somebody up here, I think I don't remember who it was, but somebody said they were sitting at tables with people that are just massively larger than them, and you thought you were doing an okay job, and you realize you're not. So I went back to my team, and I told them right then and there, we're not doing any more project work. We are done with project work. I don't know if this is gonna work. It may crash the whole agency. Y'all might be out of jobs here, in a couple of months. But I saw the light when I first came down here, and we did that. And it took us 3 or 4 months, and we completely replaced all of the revenue from quit taking project work. So shifting into our programs, building the team, going up and down, I mean, that's really what got us here. It's just you have to stay focused and keep churning, right? You can't give up. No matter how many times you want to give up, everybody, all of us are going to feel that way, right? I think it was Chris that mentioned, once you get up to this level, I'm going to tell you, your problems don't get easier. They just get more complex, right? You're going to get a lot more of them, a lot more things that you have to deal with that you wouldn't ever think that you had to deal with, because you don't know what you don't know yet, right? So if you guys think you have problems, you should see some of the Titan groups and Titan chats that we go through. It'll make you want to pick your problems back out and deal with what you've got, right? Because it is not all the glory that it seems to be when you're up here at this level. I will tell you, things get harder, and you have to start relying on other people that you don't know if they're going to do a good job or not. And your own reputation, your financial, your whole livelihood is on the hook, right? But I wouldn't have got here if it wasn't for my wife and her support, if it wasn't for Josh and Yesenia and the 7-figure agency community, my team that I have here with me, or a couple of them anyways, but most importantly, all the people in this community. I give back a lot, and I am an open book for everybody. I talk very openly about the struggles that I have, but if it wasn't being able to have that community of support, I would have never gotten to where I am here today. I tell everybody when they talk to me, there's a lot of things in some of these sessions that I don't get value from, right? Especially when we talk about MRR. A lot of those things don't apply to me at this level, but what it is the community of people. And when I came to this group, I didn't have this level of support behind me. And when you have hundreds and hundreds of other agency owners that are going through the exact same problems and the exact same issues that you are, and you have these people like friends in your pocket that you can reach out to at any time, that's the support system that you need in order to grow to the 7 figures and where we're headed to the 8 figures. So thank you, Josh. Thank you, Senya. Thank you, Angela, my team, and everybody else.
So good. Such a great share. Congratulations. Thanks for all you do to support the community and everything you share with us. So, round of applause. So good. All right. Also, at $3 million in annualized revenue, just crossed this threshold. Really strong in the MSP market. Cassie Carpenter, come on up. Congratulations, nicely done. Cassie's been growing and growing. So tell us a little bit about the agency, the background, and kind of what's working.
Yeah, thank you. Looking at that photo to get you my LinkedIn shot. For us, so many people have touched on this topic tonight, and it's your team. There's a lot of A players in the room tonight, and I can say that I do not think that an agency can get to 7 figures, much less multiple 7 figures, without A players on the team. It's made all the difference for us. It's I think Chris touched on this, and a lot of times the team that gets you to one point is not the team that's going to get you to the next. So there have been times where we've had to make adjustments on our team and expand the team, or maybe demote people from time to time because they may not be the person who's going to be the best fit to get us to the next position that we're trying to be. So that's been a huge part of it. And then for us, we kind of hit a plateau. We acquired one of our top competitors about 2 years ago, and we almost doubled overnight. So that was really big for us. We were right at the 7-figure mark. It took us over and then almost to where we are now, right? And we faced churn, a lot of churn for the first time because we were acquiring a lot of clients that weren't initially ours. So what do we do? What are the differences that we make? So we put a heavy focus on this past year on client retention. That had a lot to do with our team, with the A players, with our client success team, and it had a lot to do with just building the relationships with our clients as well. So it's not just having the team that is skilled in place that can do the job, but it's also building the relationship with the clients, getting to know them. I first learned from you, Josh, relationships plus retention, or relationships plus results equals retention, and that has been the difference maker for us, get us to that multiple 7-figure mark.
So good. So a couple people have said it, and if you're kind of at a plateau, it may be time to level up the team, right? It's going to happen at some point within the agency. And if you're looking for someone that can share insights on an acquisition and the blowback that happens after an acquisition, Casey's got some great insights to share on that. Let's give her a round of applause. Thanks for sharing. Congratulations. Great job. All right. 4 million. I think we got an agency in the room that just crossed the $4 million revenue threshold. This is a big step. And this agency is one of the long-term members of the 7-figure agency. Came in, chose the niche, doubled down, accelerated growth, has been an amazing advocate for this community, sharing, giving back. And so I'm super excited to call up at 4 million, Josh Konigsberg, Annie Leonard, Law Firm Marketing Pros, and team. Yes, come on up. Congratulations. You guys are crushing it, closing some big deals. You squeeze in. Yeah, let's get a photo. He's like, I have to hold it. All right, Josh, we have to hear. There's been ups, there's been downs, there's been struggles. There's been some great salesmanship along the way. Tell us some of the secrets.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank the A players that came today for the week. I can't remember who just said it, who was up here. I think it was you, Cassie, right? And without the A players and a great management team, you can't do it. Before I forget, Brad Ferris, amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just been tremendously helpful on so many levels. It's been actually a rough 2 years for us, with some real significant ups and downs. About 2 months ago, we lost about 36,000 in MRR in 2 weeks. And unless you're doing 10 million a year, that's gonna hurt. Fortunately, I had a nice pipeline in place and was able to bring in about 45,000 MRR in the following 3 weeks after that, so that was good. You're one JV away. That's what did it. You know, it took about 2 years of work to build this JV that we now have in place, and it's been tremendous to help us get to the 4 million mark. And as Tony just said, the problems are more complicated, and the roller coaster ride continues, but that's life as an entrepreneur. You got to keep grinding it out, and there's some days, you know, that you just want to quit, and some days that you're just so pissed that like I'm not even going to sit in on that meeting today, right? But if you do the right things in life and you find your center and whatever you want to call it, your universe, and I've talked to Mandeep about meditation and the good stuff that comes from that and the manifestations that we all need to do. And I'll just say in general, a couple things. This community has been so transformative for me just as a human being, and what my outlook on life. I just can't say enough to Josh and Yesenia for that. As I've said privately to Josh, I've said to a couple other people, nothing brings me greater joy. And if those of you don't know, single father, raised 2 children by myself right now, and my kids are doing great. But nothing brings me greater joy than when someone comes back on the Wednesday coaching call, skill sessions, and they tell me the success that they've achieved because they implemented and did what I said. Where's Bill Crawford at? Bill, you just went through that, what, just a few months ago? You closed 6 or 8 deals back to back to back to back, right? So, and that's not about me. It's just a feeling that I get that I can give back and help the community. So you've got to continue to leverage the community. There's so many smart people in this room. Nobody can do it by themselves. There's people I look at. I just gave a shout out to Brad. I look at Chris. I look at Tony. There's people who aren't here that have helped us. That you know when we have a problem, what's Danny Barrera doing about this? What has Tony Ricketts done, et cetera? It's just been incredibly supportive to have a community like this. You know, and everybody talks about who's in your room. Who's in this room is who's in my room. And that's what I think everybody should, how everybody should look at it. It's just a great community, and just thank you all for your support, and just been great. Thanks, guys.
Awesome share. Congratulations. Thanks for all of the great coaching you do. Really appreciate you. Keep crushing it. Send Andy our regards. Congratulate him as well for us. All right. Next up. What is up next? Okay. Next up is actually $8 million. There's an agency that has crossed $8 million in annualized revenue. When I say the name, you'll all know him. He wished he could have been here. He's crushing it in his agency. He's putting out amazing content. He's making great documentaries. He's doing some big acquisitions. He'll be here tomorrow, but he's not here today. But let's give him a round of applause. In honorarium, Matt Plapp. The man in orange. Hard to miss. You'll see him tomorrow. You'll hear him tomorrow. All right. And there is one long-term member of the 7-figure agency that has crossed 8 figures. Runs an amazing agency. He's an amazing human being. He actually crossed 8 figures quite a while ago, but he hasn't been here live. And so we wanted to take the opportunity to get him the first ever 8-figure agency award, which is super exciting. David Kozleric, Agency Elevation. Come on up. do you think about the 8-figure plaque, guys? Pretty cool. We plan to give a lot of these out, so we're really excited to give more of these 8-figure awards out. But so not only has David and Eric built an 8-figure agency, they've been acquired and they've gone through that process, and now he's buying other businesses. And so we'd love to hear kind of your journey, your expertise growing to 8 figures, and the lessons learned in an acquisition and all of that. Hands up if you still have enough energy tonight to hear some of this insight. Okay, cool. Let's hear it.
Well, first off, thank you. Been a part of this group for a while. Tried looking up in my email. I have an email from 2015. I don't remember exactly when I joined, but 2015, 2017, somewhere in there. When I first started at 7-figure agency, wasn't making hardly any money, was actually working a W-2 job. At the time, had a side agency that ended up morphing into white label. And so just understand that the journey was, I never even thought 8 figures was a reality, to be honest, back then. Like if I could have just made 50 grand extra a year at the time, that was, I think we've all been there at some point. That was important. So things just kind of took off, and we really had a significant growth spurt where we really went from very little revenue to selling the company last year. And when I say sell, we merged with a larger white label company that's also USA based. They focus on enterprise white label called Semify. They were looking to acquire somebody in the white label space for agencies, and they had actually approached at the event last year in March. They approached me and just said, hey, we were interested in buying your company. And I was like, yeah, okay, get out of here. 4 weeks later, they had us an offer, and it was kind of just wild. Like I met them through this group, through this program. They came just to try to buy our company. And I was looking back at the numbers with Eric. Josh said we were supposed to get, I think last year we were going to maybe get this award because we hit that last year with run rate with MRR. I don't travel a lot because I just get busy and I work and grind, and that's a big part of the success. Eric travels even less. So the quick story there is I met Eric at an agency like 12 years or 15 years ago. He was the director of PPC and I was the director of SEO. And they gave him the director of marketing job over me, so I quit. And we stayed friends because he was the best I'd ever seen in paid ads. And I bugged him for years, and then we finally got together and we launched Agency Elevation. And we went from 0 employees to 110 full-time US employees in 4 years. And so that grind and that fast ascension was, we didn't plan it, we didn't know, we just took it as it came. And we were, this group was an instrumental part of that. Josh's mentorship. We have a lot of clients that are, they use Agency Elevation in this program. We love every one of you. I've created and built a lot of friendships and relationships that have lasted for years and years in this group. And truly, what you surround yourself with is what you're going to become. We've all heard, your net worth is going to be the sum of who you hang around the most, and that is very true. So I encourage you to keep coming to these types of events and surrounding yourself with successful people, because that's really the only way to do it, is to level up your mind. So I was just going to say, I actually had never met Eric in person.
Come on.
Until we sold the company and we had to sign papers together in person.
Wow.
So just to tell you what you can do with just Slack, Google Meet, or Zoom, and we truly did that. Like, I did not meet him in person. They actually didn't believe it, the people buying our company. They were like, you're lying. And we're like, I'm dead serious. Like, So, with that being said, it's quite the journey. I think we can all relate to agency life as a grind. And I think it's important to understand that you need to follow the blueprint and the laid out formula that's in front of you. Because one thing we did halfway through our journey, which we would have probably had more success if I didn't do this, everybody always asks, what did you do to get like fast, revenue, fast success, fast ascension? And what was the biggest mistake? The biggest mistake I made was trying to do white label websites. So a lot of you probably don't even know that we tried this. I ended up wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to fix this and solve this need in the marketplace, because everybody asks us, do you do websites, et cetera? And when I took that focus off of our core services and our core competencies, and I just tried to get, let's do this, sales kind of stagnated. Like, our growth was here, and then it started to curve down, and it just wasn't good. And once I cut that and just accepted my losses and that I was an idiot, right back on track, right back where we needed to be. And we just, to this day, we're not adding new services. Like, we just stick to what we do. And I think agency owners, I am very prone to shiny bead syndrome. I love software. I love being sold. So I'm like, this software is going to do this. It's going to, no, like, Chris said it best, like she's in Slack, she sees that somebody's doing something wrong, she sees that the tone's not right, she sees that a ball is being dropped. That's what's gonna make your business successful, not a new piece of software, not some shiny bead. Like, cut the distractions, put the pedal to the metal, and that's how we really grew this. Like, we just had the same offering and we just hammered it for that period of time, and that's what we're still doing. So I just wanna encourage you to keep doing that, but follow the blueprint that Josh has laid out. I think it was 122 agencies at 7 figures and beyond, right?
Yep.
That's incredible. I'm in just about every agency group, or have been. I don't know of a single group that comes anywhere close to those numbers. Follow the blueprint, because I see guys come into this program at 20K MRR, and in 6 months at the next intensive, they're at 7 figures. It's very doable, but you have to believe in it. And I would say that my biggest takeaway was that I didn't think bigger sooner. I originally was just trying to make 50K a year extra to feed my family and have a little extra money and get a sports car or whatever you want to do. And it turned into something well beyond that, because I committed to the grind. And if I would have believed that that was possible sooner, I would have achieved that a lot sooner, and I know that to be true now. And so when you're looking at this, don't just say, hey, like, yes, you got to go from 20K to 30, but don't think that 83 or 166 or whatever it is out of reach. It's extremely, extremely doable. I'm the same as anybody here. I'm not any smarter than anybody here. I just literally grinded 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for years and years and years to get here, because I wanted that success so bad. And that's still true. Even with being acquired and everything else, I work the same hours as I did building the company. Ultimately, we created a business that was valuable to outside investors, because they wanted to come in, and you need to be at a certain scale for your business to sell and to be worth a certain value where it's worth it to sell. We didn't really know what we had, because we were focused on building a good business. And so our business had that value. We had a very low churn rate. I mean, we churn, of course, we lose clients just like anybody else, but we had a very low churn rate, and we have no contracts because we're white label. Everything is month to month. You can leave with a 30-day notice. And so if we're not providing value, people can come in and they can go out very quickly. And that's a risk to investors that are coming in to buy. And so we didn't even realize how good of a business we built unintentionally, because we were just committed to providing the value, because we knew that people would leave, and if people leave, that's money out of our pockets. And ultimately, now it's completely rewired my brain to think about how to build an agency or any business so that it's a sellable asset. But it's not, even if you don't want to sell, the whole point of it is that the business can run on its own, it can run without you, it has sustainable growth that you can scale. And those are things that I don't think we did right away. We just did them unintentionally, because we grew from 0 to 110 full-time employees. We were forced into those. And I think that that's the biggest takeaway that I can tell people, is to try to build your business where it doesn't need you, but that your focus is on the business. Because I was sitting here thinking, and a couple people in this room that have been with us for years ago, I mean, I ran a lot of the campaigns. Like, that's how we got started. I ran hundreds of SEO campaigns myself, and then because of that, I was the bottleneck, and I pissed people off, and I dropped the ball, and they would churn and leave. And I'm laughing about it now, but I think, look back and say, man, I'm grateful for that learning experience, because I think you're your own worst enemy and your own bottleneck in your agency. And so when people are saying you need A players, you absolutely need A players. I wish I would have hired A players sooner and trusted them to do more of the business side of it, because ultimately it led us to being acquired. I'm still working, and I own a part of Agency Elevation, as well as a minority piece. I love the business. I'm going to be in it for a long time. I also have an aggressive 5-year non-compete, so I'm not going anywhere. It led me, though, into the next phase of my life, which is business acquisitions. And it's reignited a passion, because everything I learned in scaling an agency has translated to owning and buying other businesses. And ultimately, that's been great for me, because it's just opened me up. I'm a lot happier. The agency life, as we all know, can kind of burn you out. And then stepping away to focus on buying businesses, I've bought 4 companies this year. I'm working on a 5th deal right now. These are plumbing HVAC type companies. Very successful companies that are just local brick and mortar, retiring owners. And so that's my hobby, and that's my passion now that I love. And then it's also pairing well with what I learned with scaling, Agency Elevation. And none of that would be possible without having a belief that it could be done, having a blueprint and a group to follow. I remember even last year when we were going to sell, I consulted Josh. I went to him and I said, can I pick your brain. Can you give me some advice? I needed some advice. And he did. He gave me great advice that I stuck to, and everything's worked out. But you need those mentors in your life, and you need to lean on those mentors. Like, I can't tell you how valuable this group is. I tell everybody this is the only agency group that I fly to and go to and am a part of. There's a lot of groups out there, and I'm not saying any of them are bad. I've never seen the value that this group provides, and I'm just telling you, like Matt Plapp, you know, I love Matt. He's a beast. You can't get a word in when you're around the guy, but what did he do? He followed the program, he worked the program, and he's having massive success. And look at his passion for it. He just oozes passion, and I really respect that. I really vibe with that, and that's what I'm going to say. He will be at 8 figures very soon. There's no question about it. And I just really encourage you to do that. Like, everybody asks, like, what's the secret sauce? I'm telling you, there's one secret, 2 things. 1, cut all distractions and side focuses and work more hours on your business. There is no replacement for grinding inside your business if you want to get to that level. If your goal is a lifestyle business where you just want to make a decent living and work 30 hours a week, that's fine. That you can do that. But if you want to grind to 8 figures and above, I can assure you it's going to be a lot of hours. And I just tell everybody that. But don't let that dissuade you. That should be what motivates you. And that's how Eric and I are. I mean, Eric and I work 7 days a week. Not saying I don't take off, I don't do vacations, I see my family every day, we have date nights, we do all the stuff that's important to keep the family running, but you need to be sure that you're putting the time into these businesses. And Josh is gonna hit that goal of 500 agencies at 7 or 8 figures, and it's because of you guys following his program, but I'm just telling you, if you do it, you will get to 7 figures very quickly, so.
Beautiful. So good, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. This has been a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys took away some insights, you took away some inspiration, you took away some new ideas. Congratulations to all of you. Some of you guys have had massive progress. Some of you guys are pushing through those stuck points, which we're going to be celebrating you next time. I had a blast. I hope you guys had a blast. Let's continue to mastermind. Let's continue to hang out. But we're going to wrap up tonight's, we'll do that tomorrow. We're going to wrap up tonight's awards here. And we'll see everybody in the morning at 8 a.m. We're doing the Coach Connection at 8 a.m. in the room. So if you want to come see your coach, spend a little bit of time, come into the room at 8. Otherwise, we're going to kick off promptly at 9 a.m. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Thanks, everybody.